The basic granny square is one of the most commonly crocheted items. Because it only uses a few basic stitches, it's very well suited for beginners. But because it can also be used in so many different ways and in all sorts of sizes, it can also bring enough challenge for somebody who's been crocheting for a long time, or you can use it just for relaxing. These here ones are very basic, with the color being changed on every round, and they only have 3 rounds. This here is just one color and a bit bigger, and when you search online, you find so many different types of projects done with just a basic granny square. I have this popular video about how to crochet it, but it's many years old, so that's why it's time to make a new one. Now, there are many slightly different ways of crocheting it. There are variations to almost everything in it, but I'm only going to show one way, the way I would make it, simply so that it doesn't seem confusing. First, we crochet the basic square, and at the end I'm going to give a tip that will help you when you are going to make large granny squares. I'm going to use these 3 yarns. These are just leftovers. And then you need a hook that goes with the yarn that you have. These are about double knitting weight, and this is a 4mm hook or G. It's always worth checking the yarn label. They always tell you their suggestion for the size of the hook, and in most cases that's correct. We start with a slip knot. I hold the yarn like this and make the first stitch this way. And then chain 5. And insert the hook in the first stitch and make a stitch by pulling the yarn through, a slip stitch. Then chain 3. And 2 double crochets into that ring. And I'm using American crochet terms. Double crochet in US terms is treble in UK terms. And I'm leaving the yarn tail inside my stitches. The chain here in the beginning counts as a double crochet, and then we have 2 more. And then chain 2. And then we continue the same 3 double crochets into the ring. And by the way, remember that it's always easy to slow down or speed up any video on YouTube. So 3, then again chain 2, and 3 double crochets, and 1 more time. There's 3, and then again chain 2. And now after this first round, I'm not changing the color yet. So we need to join this to the start. Find the 3rd chain from the beginning and a slip stitch there. Like that. Then chain 3. And again, this counts as a double crochet. And then we go sort of backwards just over this here and make 2 double crochets there. In that chain loop that you have in that corner behind you. There. Then chain 1. And now, so that the square grows, we will need to have 2 groups of 3 double crochets in that there corner. So 3 first. Then chain 2. And then we need 3 more in that same chain space, in that same corner. So 3 more double crochets. Like this here. Then chain 1, and now we skip to the next corner and we do it exactly the same as this here. So first 3 double crochets, chain 2 and 3 double crochets again in that same place. And like this, you will continue like that. So do the next corner. So the way I do it, always chaining 2 in between the groups in the corner, and then when you are not in a corner, you just chain 1. So now chain 1 and do 1 corner, and after that we'll look at that last corner. So I did that corner. Now I have 3 full corners done, and that's where we started. Then chain 1, and in that corner where we started, we need a second set of 3 double crochets in there. Like that. But now I'm going to change the color and chain 2 again in the corner. But now, because we changed the color, we don't join this directly here yet. Instead, we're taking the other color, the new color. So find the third chain and take the new color in your hook and pull that through as a slip stitch. Like that there. So that joins it there. And now you can cut that blue yarn. We do end up with some yarn ends, and so far I have not found a good way to get rid of yarn ends so that you would not use knots. I would never knot yarn, make knots into a yarn. And that's the only way I have seen, so that you sort of hide the knots. So you will have yarn ends to weave in either at this stage or later. I'm not going to do it now. And then we just do the same, only that we have a different color now. Again, chain 3. And you do need to sort of tighten these then at some stage, these yarn ends. And again, 2 double crochets in that corner behind. And then chain 1 and a group of 3 double crochets here. Also people call that a granny stitch. And of course the number of these stitches now grows all the time, so now you have twice just chaining 1 before you come to the next corner. And now we are in a corner, so the corner is always the same, so the whole granny square is very, very repetitive, which makes it very relaxing too. Now we are in a corner, so here we chain 2 in order to have enough room to have always 2 groups of double crochets. And 3 more, and this is then what you repeat. Now I have 3 here. And then I continue the same. First chain 1, then a group of 3 here, chain 1, and then go to the next corner. So continue like that, round it again. So here I have gone round it again, and now I'm going to change the color again. Take this here, pale green yarn, and oh, I have those chains missing. Chain 2, and then take the other color if you are changing colors. And that goes the same way. You go into the last of the 3 chains there, take the other yarn on the hook and pull through. Can tighten that, and then that will get tightened again when you weave in the yarn ends. And then we start exactly the same. Chain 3, 2 double crochets into the corner, tighten that a bit now. This pink one can be cut as well now. And I'll just do this here first. Side, so you chain 1 here and again 3, chain 1, and so now we have one more granny stitch or a group of double crochets along the side, and chain 1 and go into the corner. And like we've seen before, the corners are always the same. They just get further and further from each other every time. I chained 2 and the other side of the corner. Here, so I'll finish this here, and after that I'll show what you can do if you are going to make a very big granny square in order to avoid a problem that can arise. So here we are, that's that round done, and now this is actually something I don't like doing, because doing it means that you will have wrong side stitches on the right side. But it is something that can help if you are doing a very large granny square. What happens with many people is that if you are making very large granny squares, this is not large, but what I mean is that it starts, as you go on, it starts going like this here, that it no longer stays completely square. I actually do it exactly what I have shown here until I have at least 10 rounds. I would only do this after that, but I'm showing it here because I'm not going to make this any bigger. What we are going to do is we are going to turn and go back. But before, what you do about the corner then, if you're going to do that, instead of chaining 2, you make a double crochet and you put that into the top of that there chain you had. So now when we turn this around, we are in a similar situation that we can go sort of the back. So start here, just the normal way. 3 chains and 2 double crochets, and you will do exactly what we have done until now. There's of course one more, but you are doing it from the wrong side now. And then when you get round that, you turn again. So that's just a tip what you can do. So here we are, and check out this here playlist where I have things that have been done with granny squares. Among them there's a video that lists over 50 different things that you can make using granny squares. I'm making this video in Finland and finishing off with a scene from the last week here.